I'm Heather Skye, owner of Revolution Yoga, and it's another beautiful day in the Utah mountains. And today I wanted to break down one of my favorite warm-up sequences, cat-cow. So in my experience, this is one of those sequences where you're kind of just going through it a little thoughtlessly to get on to the next thing in your practice. And for me, there are so many big components that we're looking at and tuning into here. So I like to really break it down to be efficient and get the most out of it. And I want to start by talking a little bit about the carrying angle. So I've talked about this in some of my videos before, but often in yoga, we get a cue to place the hands right beneath the shoulders with the fingers, the middle finger facing forward. And that really closes off a lot of space depending on your posture and your body type. So if you reach your arms out to the sides, what we're looking at is the angle from the elbow to the wrist. You can see how it goes outward from the body, and that can be different side to side, person to person, but this is called a carrying angle. So if this angle of the joint is pointing outward and we're always turning inward, then we're kind of affecting that whole structure. So when we start by setting our cat-cow up, that's a hard thing to say, you want to go ahead and give yourself that extra space based on what the carrying angle looks like. So I like to plant my hands a little broad and forward of my shoulders with my fingers turned out enough that I can ground down through all 10 knuckle mounds. And then the next thing we're looking at here is if you tend to sink into the shoulders and chest, or if you tend to naturally scoop your butt under and round the back. So we want to think about reaching the head and tail apart and gently pulling the navel up toward the spine to create a neutral position. It doesn't matter if the toes are tucked or untucked. I think of that as just being an extra balance point. So if you don't need it and it's comfortable, you can go flat foot, otherwise tuck all 10 toes under. Now what really makes a difference here, a cue that I hear often is on your inhale, drop the belly to come into cow pose. And that's exactly what we were trying to avoid. So what you want to do is actually inhale, pull your palms toward your knees, which is going to kind of lock in the structure of the pelvis so that you can lengthen the spine from the tail all the way up to the top of the head, even getting that movement through the low part of the abdomen. And on your exhale, push the palms away from the knees until your navel naturally starts to lift toward the spine, chin and tail will tuck, and you just keep pushing until the shoulder blades broaden and you create that space across the back. Try a few more like that, following your own breath. Inhale, draw palms and knees together. Extend from the tail all the way to the crown. Exhale, push palms and knees apart, naturally moving into that flexion state. And the more you practice this, the more you can really tune into the structure of your own body, the sensations that come up day to day. I typically will take at least 5 of these, and when I come into that last cat pose, I like to move into trunk rolls, which can be a little tricky for the brain to start, but I think about keeping my press on one side and softening to the other side as I dip the rib cage, come all the way down and over, and then push back up. And you can take a few of those each direction. See what kind of range you have in your movement here, what that feels like. When you feel complete in those movements, you can come back to child's pose. Or if you're ready for something a little bigger, you can always make your way up to down dog from here. I hope that helps you get a little bit more out of your cat-cow sequence, and I look forward to seeing you next time.